Welcome back to your weekly installment of the Top 10. These are the hottest selling cards in Magic the Gathering this week from March 22nd to the 29th of 2024. This week's episode contains phenomenal sales numbers and gets down to the appetite that players have for the singles market. Let's get the party started. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here, your host for this weekly installment of the Top 10, the hottest selling cards in Magic this week. Reminder that if you enjoyed today's content, like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking for other ways to support me, you can help out by using my TCG Player affiliate link if you're ever shopping on TCG Player. That link is found in the description of this video. Let's start with the number 10 card this week, and it is Undercity Sewers, and that's from the Murders at Karlov Manor. Now this card, of course, has had continuous sales volumes that should be recognized because this product has not been overly opened. As much as we'd like to think these boxes were being opened every day, the price point has kept a lot of players from buying Play Booster boxes, and players have been sticking to the odd collector box as the prices have been falling. The 2,734 sales equals a total sales volume of $35,542. Now, Undercity Sewers comes into the battlefield tapped, but it does offer you Surveil 1. Lets you look at that card and decide if you need to ditch it from the top of your library and shove that into your graveyard. This card has had a lot of play action. It hasn't been on the top 10 for a few weeks, and last week's sales were so abysmal, I'm not surprised. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our number 9 card this week. This is the Aftermath Analysis. I've had the privilege of facing off against this number 9 card numerous times this week in my arena matches, although I have yet to see this thing played at a standard night. This card had 2,831 sales, or $1,925 in sales volume. Now this card is kind of brutal, guys. It says when the Aftermath Analysis enters a battlefield, you mill 3 cards. You can pay 3 and 1 green, sacrifice the Aftermath Analysis, and return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. So what people like to do is mill themselves a whole bunch of times, put tons of mana into it, then they just nuke multiple copies of this card and bring everything back. And then they end up on like turn 5 having like 10 or 12 lands. It gets insane because there's other cards helping them mill. This is a card you should be paying attention to, and it does kind of show why the surge in this card has been happening. I faced it a lot of times, and I've lost a lot of times to this card. Let's go ahead and take a look at our number 8 card this week. It's Thundering Falls. This card comes in from Murders at Karlov Manor at $7.70. It has 3,298 sales this week, or $25,394.60 of total sales volume. Now, as I spoke earlier about the Undercity Sewers, this card and the Undercity are the most desired cards of this mana base. They are being bought consistently, but they're not always making the top 10. Usually it's off by a few hundred copies. But for whatever reason, this week, this card dipped a bit and saw a real resurgence in sales. The Undercity Sewers, I'm not sure why it went up, but it did. So when you're tracking these sales volumes, you have to understand, I don't think new product is being opened. I think players are picking up these cards knowing that the shortage of boxes being opened is going to cause a spike in the secondary market as the card values rise because of short supply and the fact standard is getting well underway. Keep an eye on these cards if you don't own any yet. Let's go ahead and stop in and take a look at our number 7 card this week. Kind of a surprise, but we are back from the Lord of the Rings to Lorien Revealed. This card went as high as about, what, $5? Now we're down to $2.81, about half the price. 3,674 sales this week, or $10,323 in sales volume. This card is brutal. It's amazing. Of course, people want to have this card. This thing is 2 blue and 3 generic to draw 3 cards, but it's that land cycling ability. Same as the Khazak Doom, same as the green one. The land cycling cards in a modern deck just make everything work. It makes everything just blend together perfectly. I have friends who are using this in kitchen table Magic, and it is brutal to face off against some of these cards when you least expect it. But as soon as you see that thing coming out and they're using it for the island cycling, you're like, yeah, I've only got a turn to live. I understand. But with the values as low as they are, it makes perfect sense. Players are getting play sets of 4, which is what I saw. This doesn't appear to be speculation of any kind. It seems to be a lot of players buying play sets of 4 from separate locations. A great card I can understand because now you're only spending about $10 to get your play set. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next card this week. And here we are with Bitter Triumph from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I'm not surprised to see this card back on again. It's a very useful card for a lot of reasons. Now, at the number 6 position with 3,900 plus sales, $7,802 in sales volumes. Now, what this card does: 1 black, 1 generic. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card or pay 3 life. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. You get to pick. And they've kind of modified this from other spells of the like, but being able to use this, most players are just going to give up the 3 life or discard a land knowing they're going to get this card back. That's right. Like with that Analyst, being able to discard your lands and go back and get them and put them into play anyway, while still getting rid of a creature, means you're not really losing anything. It's insane to think of some of the combinations that are being played right now. Now, our number 5 card, The Growing Rights, comes from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. It's a reprint card, but it saw a real resurgence in sales this week. 3,980 sales for a card that's only $3.65. The fact that this card gets utilized as much as it does really shouldn't come as any surprise. Being able to flip this card over and get that Gaia's Cradle type usage out of a card like this, as well as being able to look at the top 4 cards of your library and putting a creature card, it's insane, guys. I can understand. Now, can a card like this be subject to speculation? Absolutely. Can this card go back up to the $7, $8 level after it rotates out? Yes, it can, which seems to be what's going on right now. The amount of sales from singular people buying 50, 60 copies is speculation, so keep an eye out for this card. If you own it, good for you. Use it, have fun. It's definitely seeing play in Standard, so keep your eyes out. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next card. Coming in at number 4 this week, we are going to see another one from the Murders at Karlov Manor. This is the Archdruid's Charm. Now, this card with 3,993 sales, or $35,937. It is a 3 green casting instant that says choose one. Search your library for a creature or land card and reveal it. Put it onto the battlefield tapped if it's a land card. Otherwise, put it into your hand and shuffle. Or you can choose the second option, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, and it deals damage to another target creature you don't control, or you can exile target artifact or enchantment. These multi-utilitarian cards are insane. You notice it said land card. It didn't say a basic land. That's insane to think of. Some of the cards you can go after, some of the land cards you can chase down in your deck, especially in Commander. Pay attention to cards like this. Their multifunction is not to be underestimated for $9. All right, guys, we are going down, and yes, we are back again. Can you believe it? We have Universes Beyond, Sulphur Falls coming in here. It's a 72-cent card, costs next to nothing. 4,870 sales, only equaled $3,506 of sales volume. Guys, it's under $1. What do we expect? But the Sulphur Falls enters the battlefield tapped unless you control an island or a mountain. Now, the fact that these cards have all come down so far in value doesn't mean they can't bounce back, okay? Doesn't mean they can't go all the way back up, but Wizards obviously wants these things being at a certain price point. All these mana-based cards of this type have really been shot down in price, but if you ignore them long enough, if they don't get reprints regularly, they do tend to creep up. So if you got a couple of play sets, good for you. If you don't, hey, it's a great time to pick these cards up using my affiliate link. It makes perfect sense now. All right, we are going to our next card. Can you believe this, guys? We are stopping in, and we're going back to War of the Spark. I couldn't believe this when I saw the counts. This is your number 2 card, Ashiok, Dream Render. 5,102 sales, or a total sales volume of $8,000 plus. Now, the legendary Planeswalker Uncommon, I remember this guy very well, and it says, spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause their controller to search their library. That's a very, very good static ability, but it also has, target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into the graveyard, then exile each opponent's graveyard. Guys, cards like this are disgusting. And the fact that you kind of forget they exist until they show up in a top 10 video, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that card. This is insane to think this is a 3 casting cost Planeswalker that can totally mess up all kinds of stuff I'm trying to do. What was I thinking? But that's not the number 1 card. Here is your number 1 card. Can you believe this, guys? Up the Beanstalk. Wilds of Eldraine. Remember when this thing was like a $6-7 card? We're all the way down to $1.75. And this thing had 5,245 sales from the 22nd to the 29th, or a total sales volume of $9,178. Now, I noticed a lot of the cards this week have much higher sales volumes, but they're not the big, heavy-hitting cards of Magic the Gathering. These aren't the Ragavans, the Sheoldreds, the Nimble Pilferers. This is not your Dockside Extortionist. These are cards that players need to get their hands on. There's definitely speculation in the market that you guys should be aware of, because some of these sales are not natural. They don't fit into the generalization of sales markets for the decks we're seeing built with right now. So keep your eyes out, because somebody's got their hands in the pot and they are speculating on some of these cards going up in value. Now let's stop this. Let's stop the nonsense. Let's get to the wrap up. It seems like the markets have definitely recuperated from last week's lull of low market interaction. We had very low sales volumes that didn't really make a lot of sense, and this week we're back up to almost normal levels again, except for we are seeing a lot of lower end cards doing tons of transactions. Now, in any secondary market, I have to ask and be aware that the sales we're seeing for some of these cards are not natural. There's one person doing 50 copies, another person doing 80 copies. Those aren't normal interactions I would see, unless it's an LGS picking up massive stock holdings of cards, which it could be, but it doesn't seem to be from what I've noticed from the overall sales volumes throughout the week. When I did the final totals and counts, I could see that there's just too many variables involved, so it had to be speculators coming into the market. Yes, some of the mana-based cards are very sought after and very popular. Undercity Sewers makes sense, but seeing things like Up the Beanstalk with that many sales with a set that's been out this long, be aware of it, guys, because somebody may know something that you don't know. Either way, it's great to see the market reacting well. A lot of interactions, a lot of sales happening, a lot of people getting back into standard. Don't underestimate that. Thanks again for stopping by the channel. I can't wait to see your comments in the comments section. And of course, don't forget, tomorrow is, of course, the top 10. That's right, guys. The reserve list top 10 is not gone. It comes tomorrow, and we'll see how well the sales are going. And of course, I look forward to seeing you all on my live stream, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, each and every week. I'll see you guys then. Have a great day. Thanks again to all the fantastic patrons we have here on the channel supporting each and every day. A reminder that because of these patrons, daily uploaded content is made possible. And that's because of the YouTube membership members and the amazing patrons we have supporting this channel every single day. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for another video. Have a great day. Well, here we go, guys. You've made it. You're here at the end. The green screen's in the backdrop, and we are here for the Ramble Jamble. The market this week is basically back to normal. Things really have spiced up, and we got a lot of higher sales volumes, even if they are lower end cards. These aren't your Sheoldreds. These aren't the big $50 to $100 cards that are still existing out there in Magic the Gathering, but not for long when that reprint comes. I know. Either way, seeing these kind of sales move this way and seeing how many copies of individual cards sold, I was like, okay, there are no big guys out there, but there's a lot of mana-based cards seeing a lot of action right now, which makes me wonder what people are building and why they're buying so many copies of some of these cards. Either way, I can't wait to see your comments in the comment section. Yes, I heard Ash was also plagiarized, if you guys were watching that live stream for Historian. And of course, seeing this whole plagiarism thing just makes sure it reminds you to be honest and be true, create your own content, do your own stuff. Be appreciative of the little things, because life is crazy out there. Thanks again for stopping by the channel. Thanks for being supporters. I will see you all at the live stream. Yes, I will. And I'm going to walk this way, walk off the camera. You don't know where I'm going. I'm going this way. You still don't know? I'm over there somewhere. I'm already walking away. I'm going upstairs because I have things I have to do, and then I'm going to walk further away. And actually, it's just my voice getting lower. And